Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome to the Talking Hawks review of our round 14 win against Richmond. We were the party poopers today in Dusty's 300th, cementing a massive win, and that's 4 in a row at the moment. We're absolutely humming. So you were at the game, Matt. How was it? 92,000, unbelievable.
Yeah, spectacular. It was nice to give Dusty, obviously a champion of the game, a tribute. Happy to also give a bit of a tribute to CJ as well in his 50th, but it was quite electric at times. Just that it was just enormous, the volume. But clearly at the start, the Tigers were hopeful and a bit more vocal, their crowd, but as the day wore on, it was nice to have the Hawks cheering loudly. So and witnessed a really nice game after a punt road win it by the Box Hill Hawks as well.
Yeah, exactly. Good to see all your comments rolling in, so make sure to keep them coming throughout the night. We'll make sure to address as many as possible. But yeah, it was just a great game to watch. I mean, Richmond came out at the start. They were looking hot, ready to go, amped up. And yeah, after the first 5 minutes, they didn't really look likely.
Yeah, it was amazing. I like that first goal by Dusty. It was just like, oh, geez, you don't want too many more of these. And it began, the clamps we seem to put on teams. It's just phenomenal. From that midfield to the back line, it's just sensational to start seeing on that, again, 4 wins on a row, that consistent basis that we're seeing it now. Taranto, I was a little bit worried in that first quarter. It was, a bit lively, kicked the goal, had 11, but we continue to just power on. It was amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Just seemed like we had elite performances across the ground today. A lot of players racking up a lot of nice disposals, and we saw Sicily. I mean, he was back to his best, just looking an absolute brick wall down there, as Tim pointed out. Yeah, probably makes our job easy on the 3 votes this week for Sis, but he had a few in his company. Our backline looked amazing. We've got so many elite kicks off that half backline. It's hard for people to get through, other teams to get through at the moment.
Totally. I think Tim was enjoying being a party pooper there. If that was his couple of comments. But yeah, Sicily, they just make him shine because everyone around him knows exactly what to be doing, and it's just a well-oiled machine back there. Just Frost, Grim, we know them all. Amon, Nimpy, Hardwick when he floats down. It's just it's sensational to watch those boys.
Yeah, and that was the matchup today, wasn't it? Sicily on Dusty. Besides that first goal, he really didn't have much impact at all, only registering maybe about 10 disposals, I think it was in the end, and getting caught holding the ball a few times. And I think I saw Warple fend him off at one point as well. So great scenes to just come in there, put the clamps on the 300th game superstar. But it was, as I said, there's nothing better than to come in and just quieten down another opposition's supporters, especially when there were so many there.
Absolutely. Just that, again, the team defense, it just makes it so good because it's the pressure around the ball wherever it is. We're numbers to the ball, and every now and then it slips out and it moves quickly back the other direction. But the back half, credit to them. They just will never get enough praise, but it's a joy to watch because they're just knowing each other and moving in unison. And it's win number 4 equals 6th. We are.
I know. Yeah, one win out from the top 4, which is unbelievable when we lost 2 games by, the skin of our teeth. Yeah, crazy to think what
really, really hoping it was going to be a huge percentage boost today. We'll take a win, but percentage is going to be something I think we'll all sit on the edge of our seat and watch for the rest of the season. But a well-earned break for us. So solid game.
Yeah, and I think this one's been thrown around on social media a little bit, getting everyone up and about for CJ's 50th. He had a nice impact on today's game. Unfortunately, he couldn't slot one of those goals in a few of those opportunities he had. But yeah, good to see him with all his injury issues that have followed him through his career. To get to that 50 is really, really great for him to see. And I hope we get to see CJ run out the rest of this year.
Yeah, it's looking promising. I was able to catch up with CJ a few weeks ago, and he talked about the the progress, and he's feeling very good in his body and the way he's looking out there. It's just sharp. It's overflowing the way he's enjoying it, and I really hoped he would slot one of those, like you said. But I think it must have been Chol's third or fourth, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Placing his back to the goals, and CJ was next to him in the pocket. He was calming him, giving him some encouragement or whatever. I was like, I think Chol might almost handball this one off there, but give CJ a sneaky for his 50th, but wasn't to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's as I said, there's just so many that stood up today. Weddle, he's just come on so well. We knew he had a good year last year. Kane Corn said he was going to be the best player in the competition in a few years' time. Maybe had a quieter start to the year, but it's just come on in full force now, running, taking intercept marks, just throwing himself at every contest. He looks an absolute treat.
He's a joy to watch, that's for sure. He's he's going to fly. And one thing I'm loving, when he goes up to try and keep earning the title of the Golden Fist, I think he really does punish it. Sometimes it comes in and other defenders will get a fist to it, not Frosty, but sometimes it goes downwards, and I'm like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah,
I love the Weddle, big fist.
Yeah. So Weddle with the 3 intercept marks, Scrimshaw with the 5, and Sicily with the 6, as well as Frosty with the 2. So yeah, really just a complete dominance off that back line today. I mean, as you said, it would be nearly hard to calculate how many intercept possessions that whole group of players had. Hats off to, I'm forgetting the back line. Oh, Cade Simpson. Hats off to Cade Simpson, because they are just working beautifully. Amon, another one we haven't spoken about. I think him and Impey were highlighted on the broadcast about just how defensively they were working. And then as soon as we got the intercept, switch on straight into attack.
Yeah, we got that switch a lot, didn't we, today? It's and their gut running's very, very impressive. MP, very noticeable on so many occasions, just playing the angle, timing it to get there, and if it's coming back the other way, at times they're just everywhere, those two, it seems. But Sicily, I think it was someone mentioned 10 there, intercept possessions, but 15 marks for the day. Phenomenal. Yeah. Scrimshaw 10 marks as well. Those two, Scrimshaw just started the game out with a plomp. He was doing it all with the marks, just the hustle. He's clearly going to be in our top 10 for the year. He's having an amazing season.
Yeah, what a turnaround for sure. This is exactly the type of season we wanted to see from Scrimshaw after, I would assume he would probably describe it as a disappointing one, potentially last year, having a few games of Box Hill and maybe being in and out of the side, but he's just absolutely locked that spot in, and I think he'd be one of the first picked every week now. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's a joy to watch. But let's talk about Watto. Have we got anyone? There's a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few coming in for Watson. Polarizing figure, hopefully not to our fan base, because you just can't be disappointed. Yes, he's not slotting them, but it'll come. And goal kicking is one of the things that you can get going in your game, and it might take a while, but it's something that you can learn and adjust to. Whereas all this other nous, this small forward nous, just you can't teach that, and you can see that in his game. And I mean, if you were saying to me at the start of the year, if Watson had nearly 5 scoring shots every single game, would you be happy? I'd be absolutely jumping for joy. So the goals will come. They'll come very soon. And he did kick the one today. But yeah, I think a few players, maybe besides Choli, had a few issues in front of goal today. But that's kind of been happening recently. But we're still getting it done. So, you know what?
And they were getting stuck into him as well, which, the Tigers were having a crack at the Wiz. And look, it's some nerves. He's doing it at VFL level. He's kicked 2 weeks in a row. It's going to come. He's flying and his pressure's there, which is, as a small player, can't ask for much more. As you said, it will come. And I like the boys getting around him, trying to just settle him. And I'm glad he got the opportunity again. And I really hope he would have slotted maybe 1 or 2 more. But hey, not this week. Dust yourself off, young fella, and let's go again.
Yeah, exactly. It'll come very soon, I'm sure of it. I think there's
popular.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think probably infamous is another word for it in terms of other supporters. I think a lot of people are thinking he's going to be maybe, or I say annoy a lot of the other opposition supporters, and it's already happening. So love to see that. We've got a few down in that forward line that are absolutely probably giving the crap to like putting just not being the best opposition team to play against. I think Adelaide supporters weren't happy with it. Now we don't have Richmond supporters not happy with us. That forward line is just ruffling some feathers at the moment.
Yeah, well, look, if there was, for the number of games he's played, the shots on goal, it's phenomenal. And one of them didn't even make it. These boys, I think the forward coach is going to be talking to, Kenny, there's the odd clanger with the ball's not quite making the distance. And, geez, if you're in fun, please, forward coach, tell me what is going on. Can we just kick drop punts if you're in front of goal, like more than 30 metres out? Because it's just not working for some games.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Baby.
I mean,
a good win. I'm very happy.
Exactly. 5 and 15. I mean, 20 shots on goal is pretty good for a guy who's played this is his 7th, I think, today. So, yeah, it'll come, as I said. And got a quick comment on here about the Wiz and Harley would have been close in their draft year, both predicted to go high. So I'm sure that'll be a decent contest next week. And as you said, exactly. Like I've been saying that if he slots half of these goals, he's in the conversation for rising star for sure.
It changes very quickly, doesn't it? The conversation, the narrative, and it's the same with the Hawks. We're zipping 5 to start the year, and then look, give it a bit of time, and things can change very quickly. So I'm sure we will see a few good games from the Wiz, and hopefully we'll get a couple this year.
Yeah, and we nearly had the mark of the year as well there. Probably turned out to be lucky to not get the unrealistic against him, but I think one day we're going to see goal of the year and mark of the year in the same game, maybe.
He's 170 centimetres, don't forget. So he's got quite the springboard in those legs there. It was nice.
Yeah, speaking of other pickups that the Hawks acquired over the summer break, Massimo, I mean, the last 5 weeks, he's just been dominant. Like, such a great kick, doing the work defensively as well, just looks so settled down there.
He's super consistent, which is lovely to see. I think I didn't notice him as much in the first half today, I must admit. He's worked his way into it nicely with 23 disposals and 9 marks. He's still covering nearly 400 metres gained. 3 clearances is nice for a winger. So, solid, really solid.
Yeah, I think, as I said, the only one that probably had a quiet game is the guy who got subbed off in Jack Gunston. Probably happy that the break is around the corner. And it's definitely, I've been having an interesting conversation on social media with what do we do with Mitch Lewis, who played the first half at Box Hill at the Swinburne Centre this morning. Very interesting what's going to happen with him. I'm thinking maybe a week off and 2 weeks off for Gunston and not fly up to Perth, and play Lewis if he's fit. But it'll be tricky for the selectors down at Hawthorn, and that's what you want to hear, though.
It is. The competition's growing immensely, and I think with Lewis, I'd say it's another week of restricted minutes, probably at Box Hill would be my guess, to see him get the go. But we'll see. I think I've gone blank on his name. Who's our mid-season pickup? He's kicked 3 goals
Jasper
today.
Scaife?
Yeah, Jasper's he's looking very solid out there. It'll be good to see as this year goes on. Fitness, he's learning a game plan. There's a whole lot he's got to learn, but I think 3 goals, 1 it was at Box Hill today from Jasper. Yeah,
he did look good and kicked 2 goals in the first couple of minutes at Box Hill. There was a lot of great performances as they got the win comfortably over the Richmond VFL side today. Seamus Mitchell just looked too good for the level, as well as some of those midfielders like McGuinness and Ward and Huswaite. So, competition is hot for spots at the moment. A lot of people in the comments loving Scaife. Really good to see. great pickup by the Hawks.
In the fourth, he went harder to tackle. He looked like he'd come a cropper, but he was all right in the end. I think one impressive point about the Box Hill performance today, they didn't win the inside 50 count, yet they still won 87-50. So really good efficiency when they get it inside there. And there was quite a few of the boys, as you said, from the AFL list that were playing today for Box Hill that had over 30 possessions. So knocking on the door, just heard Zane Littlejohn after the game talking to the team, and he did say, don't underestimate the value of you guys playing well. There's especially the AFL listed guys, the VFL boys keep the standards up, but the AFL boys that are playing with Box Hill are putting in enormous pressure, and it keeps our AFL team playing at a really high level. So it's solid to see again that relationship.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting because I think, unfortunately, we might be without Moore for a week or two with that sling tackle at the start of the game. Hopefully it's just a week, but it looks like he'll probably get cited. But it does open up for someone. Maybe Bruce gets a full game now, which we'd love to see. So we'll just leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm thinking a one week, maybe two at worst. But yeah, thankfully the opposition player didn't get concussed. But yeah, as I said, it leaves the spot open for someone.
Well, you've got Harry Morrison and Seamus Mitchell, 34 possessions. Josh Ward, 33. Henry Huswaite, 32. Finn McGuinness, 31. Josh Bennett's 21 and 2 goals. So Seamus probably, having played a fair few games this season, might get the nod. But
maybe Hardwick swings back. Yeah, maybe Hardwick swings back forward then if Seamus comes back in. But yeah, I think it's unfortunate that it happened early and that Maury's been going so well. But as I said, we've got people ready to step up. And I think, even Bennett's, like Josh Bennett, he's been just quietly going under the radar at Box Hill, being a really consistent performer. It's another small forward that we've got there who we can look to. Speaking of small forwards,
can I ask? Yeah. On week off, Meekie at the end of the third quarter, looked like he might have rolled his ankle or something like that. I couldn't sort of take it up, observe what was going on from where I was sitting at the ground. Did they say anything in the telecast? Because he continued to run out of the game.
Yeah, no, nothing from what I heard. They didn't even mention it at all. So hopefully nothing wrong there for Big Meekie, who maybe had a little bit of a quieter game today with Nan Curvis doing pretty well, but I think he stood his ground when he needed to, for sure.
Lenny's saying, you're kidding, Lauren. He won't get anything for that.
All right, we'll see. I think maybe I wouldn't mind having a bet on that at the moment, but
fingers crossed.
Hopefully maybe a 1 week tribunal good bloke tax down to none, hopefully.
It did look like in the first half we got the rub of the green as far as maybe some of the calls were going, and then it sort of seemed to even itself out by the end of the game. The Richmond supporters were getting a bit restless.
They wanted that siren to go for sure. Yeah. So finally, getting to Riley's comment about CMAC. Yeah, his two-away run was highlighted, I believe, either on the Sunday Footy Show or Footy Classified, something like that. But it really showed how much effort he puts in just running up and down the ground all day, just for one or two touches. But it's so important to how we're playing at the moment, and he's a big part of that. And so is all of our small forwards, including Moore, getting up and down the ground. It just helps. That's exactly how we want to play, and they're doing their job perfectly, and it's working at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't caught up in terms of running as well. Timmy and Chris were in the rooms with Jam and Impey, caught him after the game as well. So there's incredible running across the whole ground. It really is impressive to watch.
Yeah, this is another one, Wingard. I actually am not 100% up to date on that. Probably a question for Timmy. He's all around that type of stuff. But Wingard didn't play for Box Hill this morning, which is a little bit unfortunate because he did have that minor setback, I think, in the week prior at Box Hill. Did hear Sammy Mitchell say that he could have potentially played out that game. Maybe if it was at AFL level, it would have happened. But obviously didn't get up this weekend, but that's another one that's just going to make it even more difficult when he's fully fit.
Yeah. It's nice to have him potentially there in the background if we need it. It's going to be a challenge for him, if that the forwards keep clicking the way they are as well to muscle back in.
Yeah, I think this is the point we could highlight on at the moment. 7-7 at the moment. Like it's unbelievable. After the first 5 rounds, I was nearly putting a bet on us finishing on the bottom of the ladder. Like we just really didn't look like we had much in us at that point. But the ability for this side to have those few pretty down games, including the one against Sydney, which was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, and to come out and just absolutely blitz the competition. And I'm not sure what the score is in the Adelaide or Sydney game anymore, but Adelaide were up by a few goals at one point. If Sydney get beat here, are we the informed team in the competition? I mean, it's hard to say no at this point. Like, yeah, finals is, not really a dream anymore. It could be a reality. Like, it's unbelievable. And we've got that decently manageable draw coming up. I mean, West Coast up at Perth, which may make it a little bit more difficult, but then Geelong, which is always tricky and will be especially hard down at GMHBA, I think. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few more wins coming up, I would hope.
Well, we need to go back to when you and I were on a live stream a couple of weeks back, Lauren, and I know it was a podcast, wasn't it? And I sort of put it out there around
I know.
The run home, and maybe look, I'm happy to perhaps get a little bit of a gloat going ahead while we're here. But anyway, we'll see how we go. We'll have a rest. The real challenge, I think, will be seeing how we respond after a break, because it's when you've got the chemistry and momentum and whatnot. That's amazing to see what we've got happening at the moment. Fans are loving this, aren't we? You can feel the energy coming back with the Hawthorn fan base, which is exciting. But I think, how do we respond after a break? Can we click in straight away? Can we mentally be switched on? And I think I'm pleasantly surprised against some of these challenges that are coming up. GWS, how will we go? Richmond was probably a little bit of a danger game today, but hey, let's keep it going.
Yeah, exactly. The party isn't over until we get that next loss, if it ever comes. We could go all the way through. The thing with our percentage, that does make it really tricky to get in there. But you know what? I'm not doubting them. As they say, they go into every game thinking they can win if they play their best footy, and I'm not going to doubt them. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can't ask for any more than that, can you? It's it's showing. It's so evident. And I heard Day being interviewed. I don't know what the pod was by what was an AFL? Jeez, Daisy Thomas. It was only yesterday on YouTube, but yeah, Day was just saying from the older fellas all the way through the group, they're really on the same page. Even just the casual question of, are you getting together? Are you having a beer? Or, how are you clicking as a group? And they said, well, look, I've had a lot of Sunday fixturing, so you're kind of back into the week, and not really, but yeah, we'll have a beer. And just even the older fellas and Gunston and Bruce, he said they're buying in. He said, in my whole time at the Hawthorn Football Club, it hasn't felt as united as a playing group as it is right now. So that's what we've got going on, boys, with the boys. Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with the comment. I think I went into this game really not confident. Richmond had a good game last week against Adelaide. They looked good. They got a few soldiers back, including Lynch, who, had no impact on today's game, that's for sure. And I thought they would really get up for this type of game. I thought they were the type of club to do that. And just absolutely shocked me. I mean, I don't know if I thought we had it by 10 minutes in, because I was even a little bit nervous at 3/4 time, but I think unfortunately that's just going to happen every 3/4 time the rest of the year if we're leading after the unfortunate Port game. But yeah, it was great to see them rise to this occasion. I think this would have been the highest crowd basically everyone there besides Ginnivan, Gunston and Bruce have played in front of. So to be in front of that many people and not be overawed is massive. It was like a finals atmosphere.
Yeah. It's, as I said, in the second half, the Hawthorn supporters got a lot louder noticeably at the ground, and clearly, there's some good footy going on. But it's nice because the Tiger Army can be so loud. It's we're coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think one we haven't touched on. Daisy did so many smart things at different occasions. Will Day just is inspirational week after week, and Smother in the first quarter. There was a fast break. Was meant to, to go to Gunston and got intercepted. And on the turnover, Day just knows where to position himself and gets the smother. In the second quarter, he got that tackle on Dusty. You're waiting for the Dusty hips to swing, and Day stuck the tackle, and then Massimo, jumped in. I think might have got a smother at that point, but his diving tackle again in who was it? They were about to kick a goal.
I can't remember the player, but just absolutely lifted. And I don't think he had a massive game as compared to last week, but just every time he touches the ball, it just turns to gold.
But to me, it's the sign of a star. It's what the team needs, and it doesn't have to be about the stats. It's the impact, and he's just lifting the boys. He's celebrating. He comes in so hard, and he's that pumped, and it's the chest pushing and stuff like that. And Day is just in his element, doing what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I could talk about Daisy for a long time. He's just one of the absolute best at the club at the moment, and watching him play is definitely the highlight of my week.
Here we go. I think it's
Baker. I think, have we talked about Troll enough? I don't know if we have. I think
definitely
four goals and elite defensive pressure in that forward line. He's just even underrated in the fan base. There was so many writing him off after the first 2 or 3 weeks, and now he's just settled in, looks great, and cheeky little revenge game against a club that didn't want him.
No, I didn't hear much about that in the lead up, but it was absolutely, might have been in his mind. He did really well. I was even watching at Box Hill, not to get off Chol here, but I'm just thinking how much chasing he does and Deer do. I'm watching Lewis on a minutes restriction coming back in, getting a game under his belt. But I saw a couple of efforts by Mitch Lewis, chasing. I'm like, good, because you're going to have to be doing a lot more of that to help with the way the forward group's really functioning well. And Joel doesn't stop, does he? He's up and he goes. Yeah.
It's great to see someone that tall putting on that much pressure in the forward line, on top of our smalls that also add a lot there in that area as well. It just makes going into our forward line a lot easier, because even if we don't get the best entry, we can still lock it in.
Yeah, if it hits the deck, you're almost quietly confident, aren't you, that we're going to make something of it. If it gets, because the pressure's coming that quick, if the opponents do get it out, it's usually into another contest where we generally are getting numbers too anyway. So it's working nicely.
Yeah, and definitely a shout out is required for Sammy Mitchell, just absolutely dominating, picking each coach off one by one. And proving Kane Corns right when he called him a genius. He's just doing everything right. And I like, the commentary mentioned this as well, I like the times, how he chooses to go down to the bench. He went down there, I think maybe the middle of the third quarter, or maybe at the start of the third. And I think that was the perfect time, because that could have been a period where the Richmond come out and just were really hungry, but he was down there to settle the group, and they didn't really look like getting anything started in that second half.
Yeah, it's key, isn't it, to know the impact he can have. And I think it's touched on, giving it's not just trust, but the dynamic of what's going on in the coach's box, and Sam knowing where he can add more value. And I think I didn't know, I couldn't see where I was sitting that happened. So we responded, didn't we, in that third quarter nicely?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think even I had not necessarily a question on Mitchell's coaching style, but maybe just the way the team is going at the start of the year. And I think maybe you're lying to yourself if you didn't have a question or two after the first 5 losses, but he's just got this team working so well together, and the cohesion, even on and off the field, it's just great to see. And on top of it all, we're playing exciting footy that other supporters want to watch. Like, how good is it at the moment to go and tell someone you're a Hawks supporter? Like, it's so good. And everyone wants to come and watch our games, and yeah, it's great.
Beaming with pride. And I think the destination club, it's on the lips of a lot of the AFL media again, isn't it? And look, Logan McDonald, others, you're going to get other player managers from players at other clubs that are going to try to leverage Hawthorn to get a better price, because we've got some, got a little bit of a war chest sitting there. But I like the fact that if we're going to explore lots of things, we've got many irons and many fires. So it almost allows us more options if we are looking to improve in a few different areas or strengthen the depth. There's going to be some hard decisions from some players that I think potentially could be part of our future. I'm sure I'll get the odd surprise at the end of the year, but it's nice. We're definitely that destination club, and Dingley just around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there was the reported. So Hawks are interested in 3 key targets in the off-season. That's been reported recently, including Josh Battle, Bailey Smith, of course, which has been a rumour swirling for a while, with him being a fan of Hawthorn when he was a young gun, which is obviously, I mean, if they're a fan of Hawthorn, we basically already got them signed, don't we? Anyways, and then Logan McDonald as well. So a lot of nice players that would really benefit the team in a lot of ways. So it'll be interesting to see if any of those get done, if all 3 get done. Like, this is also my question. I haven't really put words to it yet. Haven't really had my full thought, but yeah, with Kel Shadir coming up, it's just Mitch Lewis's fitness, really. I think, like, if he starts from now on playing 20 games a season, like, will we need Logan McDonald? I don't know. I think he's a great player, and he's probably going to be one of the best full forwards in the comp for a while. But I just, haven't wrapped my thoughts around whether I think he would be the best signing for our club, maybe.
Well, Daz, unashamedly, he was spewing when we didn't get Logan at the draft.
Yeah.
I think it was 2020. So he's kicked 4 goals, I think, on a couple of occasions. Was in our chat where we were talking about it. I think the age demographic's good with the future and thinking forward. Probably how well he can fit in. I don't think that would be an issue. It's, you wonder what we need that's going to fit into the forward structure right now in some way, because the guys that have come in are doing it nicely. Look, he's a good athlete, and when he's taken a few games by the scruff of the neck, I don't think he's just done it consistently, but in that Sydney forward line, it's probably pretty hard, isn't it, to they got a lot going right, Sydney, as well. So you probably maybe aren't even seeing his full potential. What could he do if he came to Hawthorn? Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying I would say no to him, but it just would be an interesting conversation. Obviously, if they do think Mitch Lewis is tradable, that would be the perfect replacement, you'd think. But yeah, it's a long way away, and let's probably celebrate the win. But yeah, he is that bollocking full forward that's going to sit in the goal square most of the game and maybe not have much impact everywhere else, but is trusted to take a nice big mark. But yeah, it'll be definitely an interesting time of end of year, because who knows what's going to happen, because we went last year from going after about 10 free agents and not getting really much look in besides some of the offshoots from some of the other teams who have obviously turned into some really great key players for us at the moment. But yeah, now we've turned into a side that's can really go after anyone at the moment and have a decent chance. and how quickly have not just that narrative changed, but I love the you can't fake it. What you're seeing on the field with the players and the bond and the chemistry and in little interviews here and there. I love that the media team are also making a point. They've just dropped some primo content, I think, that's starting to show the rest of the league and potentially those that might be looking over the fence. Is the grass green? I would say yes.
Yeah.
If you're looking in the brown and gold direction, it definitely is greener, but it's going to attract a certain type. It's going to be exciting. 5 years.
Yeah, as you said, Matt, that Hawks are going to be thrown around with basically everyone at the moment because we just got that, as you said, that war chest of cash lying around. So I think, who knows who we're actually interested in, who's actually interested in us. But will be an interesting end of year for sure.
I was keen on Jamara Ugrahagen and as a comparison, and he got paid a bomb. So we'll see. If look, Daz will probably talk to some of this.
Yeah.
Daz and Mitch have got the 6 Point podcast this week. So if you enjoy your podcast, be ready to tune in. Whether that drops tomorrow or Monday, I can't say just yet. But and the MVP article will be out tomorrow. So talkinghawks.com, check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That'll be definitely a good one. Daz has been busy a little bit recently doing a few things on his side of the fence, but did drop a really nice video on Hawthorn just a couple of days ago. So feel free to jump over and have a listen to what he's thinking about the Hawks at the moment. Either way, he will be on the 6 points with Mitch, as you said, coming in the next few days, which I cannot wait to listen to. Yeah, a lot of love for Josh Battle.
An interesting one just on the forwards. I'm happy to talk to Josh Battle, even though he might have not had a cracking game just this week on. But the what Jasper may bring as a tool, he rucked a little today as well. I just think with the tall forwards that we have, what sort of a chop out can we get from a tall forward come ruckman that's going to play majority forward? Because at the moment, Makey's just looking really solid, and what we've seen all year is pretty much one ruckman being played. So if that looks like a bit of the template, decision made in the off season and perhaps development. Max Ramsden had an injury today, a box heel. I don't know what it was or the extent of it, but the players that we have that are of that caliber that can offer us a couple of goals and a forward target, as well as some handy ruck chop out, not just perhaps a pinch hitting role. That's, we're going to struggle clearly with some ruckmen that are just brutes. Yeah. But anyway, I think that'll be a factor in the future for a tall forward for us.
I think Chol does a pretty decent job in there. And I'm kind of liking at the moment the little mix they have where Chol goes into the centre bounce and then Nash kind of takes it from there, because Nash is doing a pretty good job being able to tackle, and he has that strength to tackle one of those big guys like Nankervis.
Both of them, they're rarely in the ruck contest. They're on their feet and they're your fourth midfielder straight away, which, if you've got a big hulking ruckman that's a bit slow off the mark, they don't have that to bring into that congestion, that mix. So, and what Nash does with blocking and the little one centers, it's so valuable and gets overlooked so much. Nashy gives us, or makes our midfielders look better because he's doing some of the ugly stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Please keep the comments coming. Who haven't we mentioned? I mean, of course, Frosty, weekly mention on this podcast. One little moment maybe to forget about. But you know what? The effort he did on Lynch today, just as I said earlier in the live stream, just was irrelevant to this game, had no impact at all. And I know he's come off a very long injury, but yeah, just good. Like Frosty can only work against the battles and the players he is put up against. So yeah, to have another elite game, I mean, he'll be up there in the Peter Crimmins, that's for sure.
Yeah, the job he does week in, week out, I think within the four walls, it's just, he must be getting high five from everybody. And even today, he's given up kilograms, and it was Lynch on the I'm pretty sure on the forward line, on the goal line. Frosty's holding him, ready to stop a kick, and dives the other direction to get a touch. As I think that was in the third quarter, maybe, or fourth quarter. So he's doing it all, Frosty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mackenzie is another one we haven't mentioned. He's doing great in that midfield. I think he had quite a few CBAs in that second half today because for some reason Will Day was starting half forward for some reason. I swear he only had maybe 1 or 2 CBAs after that half time, but it gave Mackenzie a good look in there and he looked really good. I mean, still maybe got to work on the kicking, but even the best midfielders in the league aren't the best kicks. I mean, Taranto went at 40% today and he was still pretty dominant. So yeah, just great work from Mackenzie, just slowly lifting his game week in, week out, and slotting those goals.
Yeah, I love the confidence to have the ping at goals. It's I think he's got a taste for it now. I think he's just wanting to have that trouble the scorer every single game, which is nice to see from a midfield, isn't it? When you've got a couple that are having shots at goals and can finish.
Yeah. I love a good goal kicking mid, and it looks like Mackenzie is turning out to be one of them. Just, awesome. Love his composure as well. That's one of my favorite things in a midfielder is just the ability to stop and prop and take a second and try and find the best way out of a situation. That's why Daisy is one of my faves. But as I said, would love to know if anyone else noticed Daisy maybe getting a little bit of a reduced time in the midfield in that second half, but hopefully all is well with him. But Impy's
maybe it's like the game's covered. Maybe you just give Dave a bit of space and lean on him when we need to. It's with Shane's got. Sorry, can I go back to Mackenzie just briefly?
Yeah.
This is an interesting point. I see the potential there. He's come a long way this season, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
What can we talk ceiling? What does it look like? Is he going to get those significantly greater minutes in the coming years? What can Mackenzie in there do? Because I think he's pretty smart and he's putting the work in his body, which I think was the thing we were seeing him holding him back a little bit. He's a bit smaller in size, and we've probably got a tall, increasing height midfield over the last few years. Can you see Mackenzie being elite as a midfielder for us?
Yeah, that is a really good question. I think it's hard to know what his ceiling looks like in this side because we already have such a young midfield that is starring. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Newcomb, who was probably our best midfielder on the day. And they're also young that it's hard to see. Like Mackenzie, I believe, will be in that rotation for a long while now. But will he outperform someone like Newcomb or Whoople or Day? That's a question that, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes because I think he can, but is he going to have the room to shine there? Which sounds maybe a little bit demeaning, but it's really hard when you've got so many great players in there. It's just, is he going to have enough time in that midfield to really show what he can do in the next couple of years?
Yeah. It takes me back to a Brad Sewell. You loved him. He did a lot for us, and even towards the end, it was just like the time in there. You sort of had to probably take that more defensive role. I don't say that's Mackenzie, but it's good to have the depth of and then the challenge, isn't it? The depth of talent, and I'm sure he's up for the challenge. Frenchie?
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, we haven't even mentioned Newcomb really, who I think will be featuring in maybe a few of our votes for the game because, he had another great game, really lifted in that second half, just so strong, can get out of everything. And then, kicked the goal to seal it, as like to put that on top of a really great game. And those 11 score involvements is critical. Like we want him around the ball, front of ball, because he can just make things happen.
Yeah, we love Nuke here. Player sponsors, Talking Hawks. So tax time's coming up. It's tax deductible. If you want to contribute to Talking Hawks, join the team and get behind Jai. But it's nice seeing him really coming along It's this season he started a little bit perhaps slower and just
Yeah.
keeps growing, doesn't he? Week in, week out.
Yeah. It's great to see that a slow start didn't really set him back by anything. He's really come into it now for sure.
I think he's still that, that alpha bull too amongst the mids, and he likes to, when he can assert himself on a game or in a contest, I think he just inside he loves that because he's, sitting, Day's tough as well, but Nuke's tough with
a lot of strength behind those legs.
Sorry, but I like seeing Jai hit a body. It's an enjoyable thing to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so just getting to a few of those comments about Impey, because he's just taken his game to another level this year. It's like I had a bit of like a knack on his game last year where I just didn't think he was calm enough or composed enough with the ball in hand. But this year he's just looked like, he's someone you'll want the ball in his hands, and he's been so strong defensively, like taking intercept marks. Another one that I think will be really high in that Peter Crimmins medalist at the end of the year.
I would wonder if that observation of you, and it's probably the same with Frosty, because the team around him is clicking better.
Yeah.
Perhaps trying to do too much or taking the game on, or I just wonder if last year, just because it wasn't quite clicking, perhaps they get a little bit exposed at times. And I don't know. It's he's absolutely having a blinder as well. As I said at the start, I don't think all those six with Weddle, that back six is just so solid and will just be not given enough credit all year.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of chat about that All-Australian team, because a few of the media outlets did release like a squad halfway through the year. Not enough Hawthorn players yet, but I think hopefully that will come with time. I think there's a lot from that back line that could get a look in terms of like Scrimshaw, even Massimo, having, we saw in the video, one of the videos the Hawthorn social media team uploaded this week where they're all getting around him for being the number one rated wingman in the comp. That's in front of, the likes of Goulden, who's just, going crazy in that Swans midfield. So, like, it's great to see Mass in there. Saw a few messages about him today, whether he could have a look in that squad for All-Australian. But, yeah, it's just all clicking really nicely at the moment.
He didn't like the intention, Mass, did he? But Nuke was also in there. So Cody's a fan. If he's an All-Australian, here we go. If we get it up. If he's an All-Australian judge, I think Cody might give him the nod.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a few, I reckon, hopefully make that squad at the end of the year, I think. And if we keep up this form, that's for sure. And I think it'll be well deserved. Yeah, I think this is a good point that Paul touches on here. I think he did really take a little while to get back from that injury, as well as the nail in the foot or something like that. I remember something crazy like that a year or two ago. So, yeah, but it's just had that consistency in his game and has looked like really great back down there along with Amon, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast.
Yeah, a couple of good calls here. Tom, the Hawks Premiership side, didn't have one All-Australian team nominee. So, yeah, doesn't really matter, does it, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
It's all about that Premiership success. But Weddle, there, marking as well. He is just very strong overhead.
Yeah, we've got just some of these kids are so strong, got such strong hands. Like Cal Shadia, the commentary said he had sticky fingers, and I agree. They just seem to fall into his lap a lot of the time. And, with the likes of Cozzy and maybe a few others, Tim O'Brien in that forward line who just couldn't buy a mark to save themselves. It's really great to have some of those players down there that are just so reliable. And as you said, if they don't mark it, they can apply that pressure down the ground. And shout out to Cozzy. I thought he didn't play too badly today against us. So glad to see him getting a game and performing at his at his next club at Richmond. Slotted a goal, which was good. Missed an easy one, which I probably called. I did call, actually, but I thought that one, he's much better from long distance, Cozzy. But, yeah, Deer hits a pack, like just puts his body on the line all the time, and he's still got that reasonably slight frame compared to someone like Mitch Lewis and Chol. So it'll be interesting with another preseason how much better this kid's going to get.
It's a joy to watch because he'll launch at anything, but he'll actually come from the back of the pack. He'll go into a pack from the front. He'll go from the side, and just he's almost got that invincible mode on. With when he goes up, he's just backing himself to sky and not worry about landing or whatever or what's coming. So it's absolutely a joy to have that courage in a player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. Let's get those last few comments coming through. We've been here for over 50 minutes now, so if anyone has some last parting comments to share with us, that would be great. Chris putting his 2 cents in, seems very settled. I definitely agree. I mean, yeah, we can't say much more than how good is it to be a Hawk supporter at the moment? Like, how good? Yeah. So great. Yeah, absolutely. So great to see us continuing that winning streak, and as you said, well-deserved break coming up around the corner. Sounds like a few of them have got some plans to go away, so absolutely deserved. Hope they get the rest that they need and will come back fit and firing with that hunger still in their belly, because got West Coast, who, are down the bottom of the ladder, but they're not easy beats up at Optus Stadium, that's for sure. We saw that against Melbourne, so it will be, and they'll have Harley Reid back, who's they're probably their game winner, who's been in and around all of their wins. So, yeah, I think it'll be a really nice game, hopefully, to come back out of the bye with. So I think, Matt, anything else?
Yeah, one thing with the bye coming up, we might just do a podcast where we will just throw it to you as fans to put whatever questions you'd like to us. We'll probably get Timmy, and I'm not sure. We'll put someone together with Timmy maybe next week, and we'll put it out there. But if you've got any questions you would love us to try and answer, fire them in now or hit us up on the socials. If you're following us on socials or you're not, we're on most of them. So please do. Again, with the podcast, you can interact there. There's questions and things like that, or you can drop your questions on the back of a 6 Points pod. But yeah, if you enjoy it, you can get us pretty much everywhere. Daz keeps talking us up on TikTok, potentially doing that. I think he's the TikTok guru. So maybe you, Loz, maybe you can take us into the TikTok, man. I don't know. Or somebody here watching would enjoy, putting your hand up and helping Talking Hawks in an area, to writing us an article, whatever you'd like. We're open. So, but a podcast that, we can look forward, we can look backwards, take all your hypotheticals. So it's been great. After 4 on the trot, it's an incredible turnaround from where we were at Zip and 5.
Yeah, wonderful. And as I said, the Crows are up by 10 minutes against Sydney. If Sydney lose, I'm calling us the informed team in the comp. I'm declaring it.
What a way to go into the bye.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us here for the Talking Hawks review of the round 14 win against Richmond. Thank you so much for all your comments. Really great to see you all in here. A lot of familiar faces, which is awesome to see. Make sure to subscribe, as Matt said, follow us on all of those socials. Leave us any comments, questions, because we will get to those hopefully soon in a bye kind of live stream thing, maybe something like that. We will keep you updated, that's for sure. So thank you all. And as normal, go Hawks.
Come on.